Max, Program Manager for the California Opioid Safety Network at the Center for Health Leadership and Practice, a program of the Public Health Institute. You are about to watch a quick take video that has been condensed from its original format to present 3 components of stakeholder development. The subject matter expert for this webinar is Karya Lustig, Deputy Director for the Center for Health Leadership and Practice at the Public Health Institute. Let's get started.
For stakeholder development, there's 3 things worth setting the groundwork on. One is getting the right people to the table. So we're not looking purely at getting numbers involved, although you do need people to do the work and you want people involved in general community interest. But in terms of having a solid coalition, or at least a base or a core, you really want the right people there. And by that I mean, who are the critical people in your community that need to get the work done? Who are those stakeholders that are really critical for that? This could be a person or it could be an institution that really should be at the table. It's also really important is power brokers. So this could be institutions that hold a lot of power, maybe because they're connected to the government, maybe because they're strong community partners, maybe they're strong community partners with a specific part of the community. But who are those people that are really key to getting the work done, and do you have them involved? One way to get them involved is going back to that vision and purpose is, are you speaking their language? Are you looking at their perspective and why they might be interested in it? One piece of coalition work is making sure that you're covering a broad perspective and not just telling people to join only what you're doing, but being able to open up the playing field to talk about why they might be interested in it, what they might bring to the table, the way that they look at the issue, the way they frame the issue and talk about it within their institutions or their sector. It might be different and lend itself to the same vision and purpose, but be different. And then the third piece is around potential turf issues and challenges. So some of the reasons that we might not have the right people at the table or might not be coming certain perspectives is because of turf issues or challenges that are historic in nature in your community. There might be certain communities that have been left out of discussions. There might be certain types of organizations that have been left out of discussions. There might be a history of a dynamic between 2 institutions. All those can then lead to people not being involved or being involved in certain pieces of work. That can cause issues if you want everybody to be there. They might be one of those key power brokers or something that you're trying to bring in. One of the things we talk about is acknowledging that kind of work up front and being able to bring people to the table by having those kind of conversations. I think you need to have alignment with who's there, and they all need to buy into what you want to do. One piece in terms of figuring out who the people are is talking to lots of people, and this is the behind the scenes, more one-on-one piece. But for instance, you want behavioral health involved, but you have no idea who should be in it. Might not be like the director of behavioral health, but you want like a key person in the department. So you might meet with the director and ask them who should be involved and explain what you're doing and figure out where the alignment is between the department. You might notice someone from that department at some other meeting. You might know them from church, from school, from some other place, and just have a meeting with them because you have a personal connection to them and try and figure out who the right person is to bring. And the right person could be because they're passionate about the issue. We have lots of people in our communities that are affected by opioids in different ways on a very personal level, and sometimes those people can be really useful to get involved because they institutionally are connected in the right place, so they get it from a work and professional sense about what they're doing, and they're also personally invested in the issue. And you would know that kind of information from just talking to people to try or seeing the person. It takes some groundwork to try and figure out who that right person is beyond the institution sometimes. So you get the institution, and then you have to dig deeper. In terms of community connections, that takes more time sometimes if you're not connected to a community at all. Talking to people to try and figure out who those people are, because they wouldn't necessarily have any sort of hierarchical authority in an institutional way, but they would have authority from a community sense of who people look up to and listen to, and who kind of leads those conversations or the thought partners around what to do or not do or what to be involved in. And that would take talking to people who might have some inroads into a community and slowly trying to figure out who the right players are within that, whether it be an organization or a person that would be involved. And that you would go from whatever place you might have a connection, again, whether it be people from schools and talking to people at local schools or churches are frequently good places to start, and then they can connect you to the right people to talk to. From having the right people there, you need to make sure you're speaking their language, so you're trying to talk to their perspective. Why are they interested in the issue from their perspective, again, not from yours? You're trying to understand how they think about the issue and then get their interest in what you're doing based on that. What would make them interested in being involved in it? Because you're not trying to get them necessarily to do what you need them to do. You're trying to have them do what they think needs to be done. Reframing it from that perspective helps, because people don't want to do make work or do something that they don't think is important. Sometimes who you need at the table changes over time. So you could start with one group, and that might morph and change over time depending on what you're working on, what becomes important, how the work grows. So you don't need to think of it as a stagnant thing.